My fans have requested that I start vlogging my trip, so that's what I'm gonna do. It is 6:24 in the morning, and I just got back from my sadhana at the cremation ground at the Manikanika. I met up with a fan at 1 a.m. and we did some meditation, some mantras, and then we talked for like 3 hours. I obviously can't vlog my trip to the cremation ground because you can't film there, but I suppose I can do some vlogs of my trip and some talks. And today I'm going to talk about death. This right here was a human once, and now they are ash and a bone. And we will all die at some point. And chances are a dog will come at the cremation ground and eat some of your remains. One day you will become dog food, no matter what you do in life. Ultimately, everything is pointless and life is just a game. The only thing that matters is if you enjoyed it. No matter what you achieve, no matter what you conquer, no matter what you do, none of it will matter in the end. When a movie is over, none of it mattered. Apart from, was it a good experience? Was it a good movie? The movie of life will one day end, and nothing that happens in that life itself, nothing you achieve, nothing you build, nothing you gain, will mean anything, because in the end we lose it all. The only thing that matters is, was it a good movie? Was it a good life? And people create so much drama and conflict and suffering for really no reason. People want to feel important, so they get into beef. People want to be the best, so they start competing. They start competing against each other. Countries compete in economics, in war. People compete at status and at success. And all this competition is because you want to achieve something. You want to be best. You want to build something. And ultimately you do so because you are afraid of death. People want success because that success can outlive them. They want to build a legacy. They want to be remembered. If they can't live eternally as the body, they would at least like to live on in memory or in history. If you can simply accept that one day you will die and nothing you will do will have meant anything, then you will not have any conflict in your life, because you will no longer seek conflict. You will no longer seek competition, because you understand that ultimately everything you achieve means nothing. And that actually all that competition, all that conflict is a complete waste of life. It is only if you take life for granted that you forget you will die, that you will waste your life and your time creating conflict and suffering. Humans actually live for a really, really long time. If you live sensibly, then you will be able to die happily at 30 or 40. Most yogis, they don't go into old age. At 30 or 40 years of age, their soul will leave the body because their karmas have already been dissolved. They have already fulfilled their life purpose at the age of 30 or 40. If you live sensibly, if you live intensively, if you actually pursue your heart, you will have more than enough time to do everything you want to achieve, to do everything you want, to do everything you desire, and much, much more. It's simply because humans waste so much of our lives that we are afraid of death. If you genuinely dare to follow your heart, to do what you love, you will be able to die peacefully, because you don't have anything else that you feel like you needed from this life. It is very natural for those who follow their dreams that their karmas, their desires, are fulfilled by the end of their life, and they can die peacefully, without regret. On the other hand, if you are afraid to do what you love, you will die with so many regrets. You will die with so many things you wanted to do but you didn't, with so many things that you still desire, and with many things you still have to learn, and with many karmas you haven't yet dissolved. The people who fear life are the people who fear death. If you don't fear life, if you actually dare do what you love, if you live without fear, then naturally you will live fully. You will do everything you came here to do, and when death comes for you, you will not be afraid. And really, the point of spirituality is to die, in a strange sense, right? We seek freedom from reincarnation, either because you want to go to heaven, or because you want complete moksha. So really, you are trying to die. A yogi is a person who has a death wish. They want to commit suicide. And they want to make sure that after they die, they don't come back. The point of spirituality is to stop living. It is to stop being a physical being and go beyond, either to become a spirit and live on in heaven or the lokas in the astral realm, or to dissolve completely and die fully to achieve moksha and reunite with God. You are trying to, at first, kill your body, commit physical suicide, dissolve your physical form and physical karmas, so you can go to heaven, or what we would call a loka in Hinduism, and what is essentially the astral realm, so you can live on as a spirit. And if you get tired of that, then the next thing you want to do is dissolve and kill your spiritual body, so you dissolve completely. So really, the point of spirituality is to die. The point of yoga is to die. And in that sense, death is an opportunity. It's not something you should fear. When it comes, it is meant to come. And if you are ready and if you are prepared, it is a state of transition to the afterlife, to liberation. Even if you are to take another birth, and if you still want to continue living as a human, as a physical being, that's, also cool. Even if you are not ready to move on, and if you would like to take another reincarnation, then death is still important. Because how you die and what you think of death matters even for reincarnation. When a soul chooses to reincarnate, it reincarnates based on the karmas and patterns it currently holds. At the point of death, your state of being will decide how you reincarnate. If you die in fear, if you die with, let's say, negative beliefs about money, then you will choose a place to reincarnate where your beliefs are confirmed. Let's say you think money is evil, and you glorify poverty as an example. Then your soul will choose to incarnate once again into a poor family because it feels repulsed, or like it doesn't want to incarnate in a place with wealth. A soul chooses where to reincarnate based on its beliefs, based on its state of mind and energy. So at the time you die, the current beliefs you hold and your state of mind and energy will dictate where you reincarnate. So really, the time up to your death is the most important for choosing your next incarnation. If you see that as an opportunity and you use the last parts of your life to change your state of mind, to question your beliefs, to think consciously about how do I want my next life to be, then your soul will actually be able to choose a proper place. I have never seen a person ask themselves, what do I want to do in my next life? Where would I choose to reincarnate? Reincarnation is something that happens on accident. It is not something people do consciously. It's something they do unconsciously. If you actually consider What do I want to do in my next life? Where do I want to reincarnate? What circumstances would benefit me? Then your soul can actually, and I mean literally, choose when to reincarnate. And all souls do choose where to reincarnate. The difference is that as a physical being, you have a mind, and that mind can make decisions. Right now, you have the opportunity to reflect on life, to think about what you want. A soul doesn't have a mind, and it cannot think logically. A soul has a certain trajectory. It has certain karmas. It is going in a certain direction. And a soul cannot change. A mind can question itself. A mind can reflect and introspect. A soul cannot. So essentially, a soul is on autopilot. The thoughts and beliefs you have when you are alive are imprinted into your soul, and when you die, that goes on autopilot. If it was different, obviously you would think, you would think if people chose where they reincarnated, then obviously they would choose a nice place, right? If you could choose where to reincarnate, obviously you would choose a rich family, you might think. But unconsciously, on an energetic level, many people are afraid of money, as an example. They either demonize money and think greed is evil, or they simply don't feel comfortable with money. And you will even see that many, let's say, I don't want to say poor people, but as an example, when people win the lottery, most of them go bankrupt within a year, so they don't know how to handle money. And a lot of poor people are, quite frankly, addicted to drugs, to alcohol, and they are financially irresponsible. If you, on an energetic level, unconsciously, don't have a good relationship with money, then you will once again reincarnate into a circumstance where you are poor. You might think logically that if you could choose where you reincarnate, then obviously you would choose, paradise, you would choose a good circumstance. But reincarnation happens based on your karmas, based on your energy, based on your unconscious habits. And while you are alive, you can change those habits, you can change those patterns by reflecting on yourself. But when you are dead, when you are a soul, those patterns can't change. A soul just has a trajectory. It has certain karmas. It cannot reflect on itself, and it basically runs on autopilot. So if you use the time before your death to really question, what would I like to do in my next life? What would I actually desire? Where would I actually want to reincarnate? Then you can literally choose. It's just that people haven't considered that option. And death is an incredibly natural and very, very healthy part of creation. There was, as an example, an experiment, but more like a failure, in Yellowstone National Park in America. At some point in the 90s, they decided to take out all the wolves, because they figured that if there were no natural predators, there would be a lot of deer, and then people could go hunting all they would like. And that seemed good on paper, but what happened is when you remove the predators from the ecosystem, the deers became massively overpopulated, and they ate so much greenery that it deformed the park. Like literally, it went from being a forest to a swamp, because the deers would eat all the roots that even maintained the ground, and the entire nature fell apart. The ecosystem started to completely deteriorate because there were no predators, right? If you remove death, the killers, from an ecosystem, then it grows to the point that it becomes unsustainable, and then it falls apart. You even see the same thing happening in biology with cancer. Cancer is what happens when cells refuse to die. When a cell refuses to die, it becomes a cancer cell. It doesn't want to die. Every cell has a lifespan, and they are meant to be replaced. When a cell refuses to die, it becomes a cancer, it grows unchecked, and at some point it starts to kill the ecosystem it is part of. And essentially, the same thing is happening on Earth. Like, humans are growing unchecked, and we have, in a sense, become a cancer on the Earth, and now our own ecosystem is unable to sustain us. So really, death is incredibly important. And death also ensures health and survival. The reason we have evolved is because of survival of the fittest. If death didn't pressure animals to evolve, to be healthy, to be strong, then we would become sick and unhealthy. In nature, everything that is sick, everything that is unhealthy, everything that is genetically or evolutionarily inferior will die. So death actually ensures evolution, it ensures health, and it ensures progress. And strangely enough, there's a squirrel here. The same thing happens in the body. The sick cells die and you are rejuvenated, right? If you didn't replace your cells, you would become, well, you would become sick. If your cells didn't replace themselves, they would grow way too old, and your body would become dysfunctional, right? Your skin replaces itself all the time. The outer layer of your skin is actually dead cells. If you scratch yourself right now, you will have dead cells coming off, because your body is constantly replacing itself to ensure health. If your body wasn't dying, if your body didn't replace itself with new life, right? Because death creates new life. If your body wasn't dying, you would become stale. Your body would grow old and frail. It is exactly death that ensures recreation, that ensures rejuvenation. Even in nature, even in the state of just like a body. So death is incredibly important. And when you have sick cells, they die. When you have something that is dysfunctional, it dies. So death actually ensures health. And even like, let's say in psychology, you could say that when a person has a trauma, it is once again because a part of them refuses to die, right? If your body doesn't want to die, it becomes a cancer. If a cell refuses to die, it becomes a cancer. Similarly, when you have a thought that you hold on to, that refuses to die, that keeps going, then that is what we call a trauma. When you have a set of thoughts that keep repeating, you have a memory, like or a pattern that continues without reason, without end, then that is what we call trauma, right? You keep thinking of the past, you keep thinking of the past. Or maybe you have a fear about the future, so you keep thinking about the future. That is intellectual cancer, that is mental cancer. It is a thought that doesn't want to die. On the other hand, if you meditate, if you let your thoughts die, if you stop holding on to them and let them go, then that is what we call a healthy mind. If a body can live without detachment from its cells, then those cells will, shit off like they should and die. If a body is afraid to let go, you get cancer. Because the cells refuse to die. Similarly, when we have thoughts that refuse to die, that becomes excessive patterns. And really, a healthy mind is one with minimal thoughts, with peace, right? So death is actually super important for the health of an ecosystem, the health of a body, the health of mind, the health of anything. Kali, she is the greatest healer. And the greatest way to ensure that you live your life sensibly is just to remember that one day you will just be bones and ash. And if there is any meat left on your bone, then a street dog will come and eat you. You will be dog food one day. If you simply remember that one day you will be dog food and that life is precious and doesn't last forever, then very naturally you will live sensibly. So, remember that one day you will die and take care of yourself and enjoy life. Jema.